One.
Hey!
Welcome back to Our Sisters Corner.
Well, we're bridging the gap between literature and healing.
I'm Kenyatta.
And I'm Diamond. And this is episode 6. Yes, we're in episode 6. And we're getting into navigating our friendships in our 30s compared to our 20s. This month we are currently reading Fighting for Our Friendships by Danielle Bayard Jackson. If you have a copy or you don't have a copy, there will be a link below for you to get your copy from Amazon. But if you already have your copy, please read along with us as we go through our review at the end of the month. But in this episode, you don't have to have a copy of the book. We're just having a girl-to-girl conversation about navigating friendship.
Just a light little chit chat.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So,
girl. So basically jumping into, we have a few criteria that we're going to cover over, but mostly we're just going to do a brief comparison of how we navigate friendship now in our 30s compared to the way that we navigated friendship in our 20s. So just starting off, I think the icebreaker to this conversation would be, what do you think the biggest change for you was, and I'll tell for myself, that allowed you to see that you were navigating friendships the wrong way or the right way?
I would say for myself, I have learned to value friendship more.
Mm-hmm.
I think at one point in my life, I did not place value on friendships, and I did not prioritize communication in relationships, and I kind of moved with the mindset of it was my way, and if something happened, I was okay with not repairing, but just getting older and just realizing this isn't it, and go to therapy for one, but just learn how to be the person that you want in your life.
True. I definitely agree. You said a big point that I was going to lead with, like therapy really gave me the opportunity to put a mirror up and hold the mirror to myself. I think the biggest place that I found that I wasn't navigating my friendships right, is I wasn't fighting for my friends either. Like when I got to a point, I'm not going to say I necessarily wanted things to go my way, but when I saw things going in a direction that I feel like I really didn't play a part in, or in a direct way back then in my 20s, take me with a grain of salt, I kind of didn't put the pressure on it. Miss Danielle made a big point at the very beginning of the book. When we were younger, when relationships start to unravel and start to look differently, you have an opportunity to communicate how you feel and how the situation is making you feel, what you believe about the friendship, if it's important to you or not, and actually taking that opportunity and doing nothing with it. So I can say that was a big part for me, really seeing like friendships that at the time I thought I would keep for a lifetime kind of unravel, and both sides, because I'm a keep it a book, both sides not really making the effort to clarify, like, we see it changing and do we want to do anything about it. So I think that was my biggest thing, and like I said, therapy to show me myself, like, what part did you play in all of this falling apart? So I definitely think in my 20s a big component, so we can break down what we just said, communication was lacking in so many areas. Just when you feel a certain way about different things going or different things happening in a way that you wouldn't want. Like, give an example, your friends start doing other activities that you're not included with, or your friends kind of like migrating to different parts of life and you not being included in it and not knowing how to understand or navigate that, because when you're used to being with somebody all the time and then we have this distance, now I feel away, you know what I'm saying? And it's not I feel away because you're wrong, I just feel away because I don't understand what's happening. So I think communication, it was such a big place that I lacked, just allowing things to just fade into the distance.
I really do agree with everything you said, and I also think that really speaks on a part of communication where we do understand what is happening, but we just don't want to be vulnerable in that way. Because sometimes I think a conversation can be had, and sometimes we do have the words, but there is just a level of vulnerability that you haven't reached. And I would say, like, with yourself first. Because sometimes we expect people to be mind readers and
you supposed to know me.
Yeah, she know what's going on. Like, no, that may be true, but still.
I think too, like, going on with the communication, and like you said, you actually do know what to say. You want to share it, but that fear of being rejected.
Yes.
Like, once I tell you what's really on my heart,
it's out of my control.
Yeah, and you not understanding, and you could take that whichever way you want to take it. And that type of vulnerability, that's really like being out in the middle of the sea. Am I gonna swim back, or somebody gonna come get me? You know? And it's really like that point where it's a point of no return in relationships and friendship relationships, platonic relationships, where it's like, this is not a romantic relationship. We don't have to do this forever, but this shit feel bigger. It feel close to family, but it's not family. So it's like that thin little line between, bitch, I don't want to lose you, but ho, you ain't finna play me. You feel me? Like, and that's a scary place to be, because your heart be open, you know? And I think that's why, well, not I think, you know, I know that in a lot of spaces, that's when I didn't make the decision to fight for people, because you know my struggle. Not thinking people would fight back for me, you know? So.
And I think it's funny that we're talking about this, because I feel like ultimately our friendships are a reflection of where we are, just mentally.
Yeah.
Because all of us are in different spaces in life, but my friendships speak on where we are mentally, because they are like a reflection of where you are. Because like, I think about it, when I think about some of the friendships that I don't have anymore, that are from my 20s,
trauma bonds.
They were definitely trauma bonds, and just the level and the quality of friendships that I have now are top tier and just unmatched.
Yeah, you saying something, baby.
I think we have really worked hard to just cultivate this space of vulnerability and just this openness, and I don't take that for granted. I really don't take that for granted.
And I'm gonna be 100%. I agree with you 1000%. And I feel like I'm still working on that strength in all of my relationships. I feel our relationship, we have common interests, but also we see each other in our individual interests of things we don't share in common. I definitely am working on myself with feeling safe within my own body, with opening up to all of my friendships in that way. I think because I have been scorned in friendship, and I have had like bad experiences, and I feel like we both have had shared, negative experiences, but I open myself up to people who open themselves up to me. Yes. That's something that I think I've been doing a lot more. When somebody comes across, and friends that I have now, I love y'all down, but I'm just one of those people who's super emotional. I'm super like transparent, and I just want people to meet me at a point where I know that you're giving the same thing. And if I don't feel like it's the same thing, I hesitate. I can be honest about that. And in my 30s, I think that I'm working on having trust within myself to take care of myself. If any relationship does not go in the way that I anticipated or wanted it to, trusting myself to take care of me and, not fall apart, when you lose people that you think you'll have forever. So I know that's something in my 30s that I'm being intentional.
Okay.
I'm trying to be more vulnerable, because I will disappear. You know me. I will.
I love that though.
And I'm really trying to be better.
Okay. I love that you're being intentional about it.
Yeah. Because, I think that we have to understand that when we make those decisions in our friendships, you are the problem then. When you isolate, when you don't give people the opportunity to be vulnerable, when you stay surface level.
Yeah.
when you don't communicate, this is the point that we're on. When you don't communicate how you feel and what you want and what you want to see the friendship grow into, how how much you care about the people around you, that can become a cage for you. And now you have all these people who they don't know how you feel, so guess what? They gonna assume. What do women do?
And we assume the worst.
Listen, that bitch don't like me. She must be hating.
And now everything you post on social media
It's about you.
Girl, go to hell.
I'm talking about that nigga I'm tired of. I'm about to talk about you. Shit.
But I think that is one of the beautiful things about growing and maturing. And I think when I was younger, I used to hear about just the 30s being a cemetery. Just that's where you go to die. That's where life ends. But I have just found that, like you said, being intentional about everything, that I have been working to just cultivate amazing friendships and just really like, I feel like the 30s is better than the 20s.
It is. And maybe that's because our 20s, let's keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a buck for me, because I can only speak for Diamond. I feel like my 20s look like a cemetery. And I want to say, I don't want that to sound bad, but I feel like my 20s was a place for friendships that I didn't know what to do with. They went to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had such great potential to grow with each other. I can only imagine how great you guys are doing in y'all 30s. I wish, and me, Cancer Gang, I wish everybody the best. Even if I can't be a part of your journey and there was a point where we had to disconnect. But I always imagine, like, dang, I bet they thriving. I hope that they're thriving. I hope that they're having great experiences, whether in their relationships, their marriages, their careers. But I just look back on, and we've had conversations about it too. I look back on relationships from my 20s and I felt like I wasn't equipped to making the decisions to help those relationships grow into the future. I know that I made mistakes, and I know that they made mistakes, and I also know that I didn't speak on the things that I thought were, maybe mistakes or done towards me that I didn't agree with. So how can it grow if you don't tell me that, you want it to grow? So I definitely look back on my 20s, like you said, and I realize that my 30s are so much better. I hope that all of my relationships, all of my friends continue to thrive. All of them are getting into their careers, getting done with school for, final career decisions and stuff like that. Even myself with career changes and stuff like that. So I really wish the best for everybody, even if I don't know how to show up all the time. And just support them, in the best ways that I can as I'm learning in my 30s. But I definitely agree with you. It feels so much better. I don't know if it's the kids or the milestones, but it's like, and I know that we have things that we are aspiring to accomplish. So I'm supporting you from afar and near. And it just hit different.
It does. And that really brings up another point that I thought about. So now in my 30s, one thing that I have learned is how to categorize my friends. I think prior to being intentional about having great relationships and just letting them do whatever, I really put everyone in the same category. And it's just a reality that some friends you can't take to church and club with. Like, I can't do all these things with you. And being okay with that. Some friends are... I love all of my friends dearly, but some of my friends are more so we connect maybe monthly and we don't talk every day. There are things going on, so we prioritize, just catching up. But it's all love when we do catch up. And some of my friends, I talk to every single day. We don't miss a beat, or if not every day, every other day. So just understanding that you can't do everything with everyone, and you can still love everybody.
Yeah, and you definitely have certain friends for certain things. Like we touched on this in the book, and when we both went over our notes about how Danielle made the comment about men. Men, they compartmentalize compartmentalize their friends.
Yes.
And they can have friends for certain things, and that'd be cool with that. That's my homeboy from the gym I play ball with. And that's it. You're not inviting him to your wedding, to your baby shower.
And he doesn't expect to come.
Listen, he ain't required to. And guess what? It's the same energy every time I see him. You know, and I think this is a great pivot into us understanding in our 30s, and from us going over the beginning of the book, how women, we put so much pressure on our friendships, and that's why the relationships are so strong and they hurt so bad when they end, and you don't want them to end, but you also can get to a point where you're like walking on eggshells to not show up as yourself if you don't have friends that you're able to, look, this ain't working for me, you know what I'm saying? Or I feel like we're at this point, we used to be at this point. But yeah, like, we take our relationships so seriously. So I think compartmentalizing and having certain friends with certain things is healthy in some friendships, I'm saying. You know, when it's just me and this girl just don't vibe. Like,
and I think, that's just who we are when we're going through stuff, or, you know, just all throughout the day, you know, my every move. I'm at the grocery store, I'm getting gas, I'm at the coffee shop, you know, just, you know, everything. And I think that's just how we operate. I know your schedule. I remind you of your schedule.
Is the twins going to therapy this morning?
Didn't that schedule get changed?
Girl.
But it's just, I think that's just how we are. And when we feel comfortable and when we feel safe, we just lay everything out on the table.
Yeah. And I think that the difference between men, no shade to the men, but women, we nurture and build communities. We do that with our families. We're like the glue. Of course, that's why, hell, with your old man, with your immediate family, your extended family, we are the glue. The women in your family are the nurturers. We make sure the events happen. We make sure we celebrate the kids on each of the holidays and birthdays. We make sure we remember Auntie Sue. She, you know, just graduated from her GED. You know, we
all the things.
Listen, we know all the things, and we are the glue.
Yes.
So of course we give that energy to our friendships. I think that as we mature, comparing our 20s to 30s, you know that Miss Wanda that I work with, that's just Miss Wanda that I work with. I'm a vibe with her on lunch. But when we leave here, she might tell me about her grandkids, but I ain't got to come to their birthday party. That's just my homegirl at work. She 50, I'm 30. Yeah. We vibing, you know? And I think that as we mature, we realize that those type of connections they're important, and they also have value, even if they don't have the roots and deepness of the connections you make with people. Like our relationship, you talk every day. I think it's understanding and respecting what the relationship means, though, and the value. So I think that that's something that in the 30s we get better at, like
taking it for what it is. Taking it for what it is, and
everybody ain't gotta be your bridesmaid.
Listen, yes.
Everybody ain't gotta be. You can have 3 solid bridesmaids. The wedding is gonna go fine. That's it. But yes, I think that's a perfect segue into us talking about our life-changing events and how to sustain our relationships in our 30s. Like how we're sustaining them through all the things.
Okay. I would say that I have been sustaining my relationships by understanding that we are all just experiencing life, and by extending grace. And I would also say having trust. I trust myself to know now that I have created some amazing relationships with the women in my life, and life happens, you know, and just understanding that we don't have to talk every day, but I know it's all love when we do talk. I know that if I ever need anything, that they are one call away, and they know it's the same for me. You know, we know how we coming, so just allowing life to just do its thing, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I too I've gotten better at I've gotten better at allowing people into the big events in my life, you know, because I feel like I'm the type of person that when something drastic happens, I'll disappear into the bliss. So it's like you have a community for a reason. You have a community to support you. You have a community to uplift you, encourage you, not pity party you, but give you an opportunity to grieve, to grow, to change, to go missing if you need to go missing, but call you up like, hey, it's been too long now. But just understanding that as we get older, things are going to happen, and you can't be with your friends every step of the way through every situation. You're not going to understand all the time. But when they come around, knowing what they need, asking what they need, if they want to turn up, if they want to chill, if they want to cry, if they want to pray, just being vulnerable to understand, like, I understand that you may be going through something that I actually don't understand, but I'm going to be here. I'm going to be quiet if you need me to be quiet. I'm going to crack a joke if you need me to crack a joke. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding your hand. I'm following your lead. You following my lead when I need to lead, and just really building those bonds through transparency. Like you said, really just, I know that the relationships that I'm building, these people know me. You know what I'm saying?
Can we pause?
Yeah. And now for a few church announcements. Hey, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay connected with us and not miss the next episode.
And if you've been enjoying the content that you're listening to, be sure to join the book club for more. The link will be below.
Let's return to the episode. And now that takes us into going into our final point, navigating the negative parts, because we say that for last. The negative parts of friendships, our 20s compared to our 30s, and how we navigate that in a more mature way. I'll go first. I think that in my 30s, and this took me a while to learn, because I feel like, speaking of life-changing events, I did have my twins at 27. I did have to move at 26 from where I was living. So I had a few things that occurred within my old friendships that I lost a group of friends, I would call. And then as I was going through postpartum, I lost another friend, you know, that I thought would, you know, those group of friends that I thought I would take into my late adult life or whatever. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned from losing friendships is understanding that everything comes to an end if it's not working for you. If you aren't growing. Now, these 2 points can go together with what we talked about at the beginning with lack of communication. Who's to say, me and you say this, well, you say this all the time, but it comes up in our conversation. Who's to say that if it was different, it'd be better?
That's real.
So I can't say that, you know, you can go back now and use everything you learned from your 30s. Hindsight is 2020. And it would be different. It probably would be the same, you know, type of destruction or falling apart or whatever. But looking back, I realized that I handled a lot of situations in a mature way. I allowed things to, even though sometimes I look at this as a negative standpoint for me, just not fighting for people who aren't fighting for me, but I also allowed things to fade and end in a mature way. I did not get on social media and, you know, bash anybody, release anybody's secrets, because I mean, I just understand now that we had our time. This connection ending does not make the good times not still have value. I am still a better person because of all of my friendships, all of the positive things that I've learned from each woman that I've encountered. But just understanding that it was just a time, you know, and we were something then and now we aren't. I can't say who you are now because I haven't, you know, you haven't been around this person in X amount of time. So people change, you changed, you know. So I think now I look at it in a more mature way, that things happen, you know. If it was meant to be, God will make it come back around. If a conversation needed to be had, I always give it to God, that God put me in the position to have a conversation be had if it needed to be had with any situation. But other than that, I kind of just let it be what it is.
I mean, and I think that's all we really can do, because like we were talking about earlier, when we are going through life-changing events, if I am only beneficial to you when we are having a good time, we were going to eventually fall off
anyway.
Like, what about if I, it just...
You want people in your corner that's going to be in your corner.
Yes.
Because we all going to have moments where, this is my downtime right now, but when it's your downtime, you're going to also want somebody in your corner to hold you up. And it's not fair if I'm always the person, holding somebody up, or vice versa. It's not fair if you're always giving and I'm taking, or whatever the dynamic may be. And we have to be accountable to the fact that, if you don't show up for me, it's only right that we're going to disconnect at some point, because you're not reliable.
No, I agree. I think the relationships that have been... The relationships where we can be our whole selves are the ones that withstand the test of time. If I can, like we say, if I can do all the things with you, if I feel my most comfortable, vulnerable self in your presence, we're going to thrive together. But if I know that I can't express that I'm having a bad day, but you don't care about that, you only want a good time.
Oh, take a shot.
Fuck your fit. Oh, cut that out, baby. We're not going to curse. But yeah,
that's so true.
Yes,
because it's, you definitely don't want somebody to make you feel that you're not vulnerable. I already told you I was emotional, and when you make me feel I can't be emotional, I already, in my back of my mind, I'm like, no, I need safe spaces where I can be myself. If I can't be myself, that means in some area of who I am, you don't like. Because if you ain't
something about it, you want to change.
Listen,
something about it makes you uncomfortable.
Something. and that's another thing in friendships, of course, 20s to 30s, that we should be more intentional about being real with ourselves.
Yes.
If it's something in your counterpart, your friendship, your homegirl, whoever, whatever you call them, that is something about her that you don't like, you have to address that within yourself first.
That's true.
And if it comes up in conversation, be real, like, this makes me uncomfortable. I don't like this. I feel a way about this. I don't want to be vulnerable. You can say that. Be real about where you are, because there was a place in my life where I did not want to be vulnerable, because that vulnerability would lead me to myself, and I wasn't ready to see me. So I think that we all have to be honest with ourselves when something about me is bringing something out in you that you need to address. It has nothing to do with me.
And I think those are some of the friendships that fall off as well.
And it's so unfortunate too. Like we talked about therapy. I think I can say this for myself. I realized a lot about myself because of therapy, because of that mirror that, was held up to me like, well, you ain't the best bitch in this area, okay? You falling short.
Yes.
So now I see, well, this probably played a part in why this didn't work out, or this played a part in why communication was lacking, or somebody felt some type of way, or somebody was, offended by something that I said or did, even if my intentions were not bad. Maybe my delivery was disrespectful. Maybe my actions were disrespectful. Just realizing certain things about yourself and understanding it's not always the other person. Sometimes it is you.
And I think the 30s has given us the language to even voice what we're saying, and just the emotional intelligence to be okay with, like you said, hey, sometimes I'm the problem too. Because a lot of times it's not just one-sided. We all play a part, whether major or minor. We all play a part in, the dissolution of a friendship. So,
and really being honest about what you don't like yourself, because sometimes you can have friendships where stuff is happening that this ain't your vibe, I don't like mess. I don't like gossip. Now, tea is different from gossip. Tea come up when it's like, what happened? Oh.
What? That's tea.
That's tea. Push that tea to the side. But when we gossiping, we talking about people, I don't care about that, baby. And I don't be want to be rude, so I just be like.
And I think those are the friends that we, well, one, I think those are the friends that you know what you're getting, you know the vibe that you're getting, so we don't communicate as often.
Yeah.
I think as we grow older, our conversations with ourselves and our friends change, and when we see that they're not changing, that relationship is just
not growing.
Yeah.
You ain't growing. And we have to be honest about those things. And I'm gonna say this put me in the pot too. Like, you have friendships where one is gossip, two, it's men problems. Mm-hmm. I'm throwing me in there because don't nobody want to hear that shit. You tired of hearing it, they tired of hearing it. So I know if I have another homegirl that's you dealing with the same, and I think that this point in adults, I'm gonna say adult as far as 30 and above relationships, is a sensitive subject because I want to be there for you. Not you. I ain't saying can y'all. I want to be there for you through your, hard times, through your issues with your partner or whoever this person may be, your baby daddy, whoever. But I also want you to find a solution. Because if you see that you're still dealing with the same thing, then be real with yourself about that. I have to throw myself in the pot with some stuff that be happening too. Mm-hmm. Like just venting out of emotion. But sometimes when you're venting out of emotion consistently, you're putting that negative energy on your friends. And they want to like him. They want to support you with this person, And just being aware of like, look, some stuff you need to handle as an adult. Pull it together.
I get you. I think sometimes when we keep going through the same situations, mm-hmm. we don't want to look a certain way, so we don't really say anything. But I think, of course, handle your stuff as like an adult. Handle your business. But at the same time, your friends... I feel like my real friends are there to support me. I feel like you done heard some stuff 1,000 times.
I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear it.
And we going to look for a different solution. It's just...
I know, because I know you be like, this...
We trying to work it out.
In a TV show.
Maybe we're not looking at it in the right angle this time. Yeah. So let's switch it up.
Let's
different
go back
viewpoint.
To the drawing board.
But I definitely
take out the scratch paper.
I think that's where the balance comes in.
Yeah.
That's just where the balance comes in, because you don't want to do too much.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah. But I think we have hit so many areas in this conversation.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else? Our hearts and minds are clear. Is there anything else that we'd like to hit on about navigating our friendships, our 20s compared to our 30s? I think a point to conclude.
I just think the 30s have been so much better than the 20s. So I feel like it's only up from here. They're going to continue to get better, continue to go upward, So I just have high expectations moving forward.
I too agree. I believe just the ending point, like I said, your 30s, you hopefully, some of y'all need to call the lady, okay? In your 30s, you get an opportunity to see yourself, and you get an opportunity to map out how you want your life to feel. Let's say feel first. You get an opportunity to map out what type of experiences you want to have. And then you get to look at your community and realize, do I have people in my life that match my desires? That's something that I'm doing in my 30s, because in my 20s I was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? I was outside. Now in my 30s I'm a mom, I'm a businesswoman, I love the Lord, and I'm trying to live according to his word. And I just want that to be reflected in my physical daily life. And sometimes when, like you said, you have friends who aren't there, I might have to compartmentalize you. You still my homegirl now. I feel you. We ain't at the same points, but at the same time, I need a community that supports who I am now. I need a community that reflects back to me the energy and the support that I need now. So I know 30s is definitely, the word for 30s is intentional.
Very much so.
Intentional with friendship. Because I need you today, you may need me tomorrow. And I don't need you needing me today, and then I ain't got nobody tomorrow. You know? So those are my nuggets for this conversation that we've had.
Okay, I think this has been a beautiful and very insightful conversation about how to navigate friendships in the 30s and how we have improved since our 20s.
The Lord helping us move through these different seasons. And I'm looking up the butterfly letter. Don't get me. But yeah, I think it has been a great experience. I don't regret a thing. With that being said, we're going to pivot into our butterfly letters. Going across.
In the butterfly letter segment, this is a portion of our episode where we just take a few moments to highlight and just give appreciation to a person, place, or thing that has brought joy to us.
Yes, so the butterfly letter segment is a part of our episode where we allow you guys to send in your email below. Send in your emails to celebrate either yourselves, another person, a place, or thing that you would like to show appreciation to. We have a saying with your butterfly, when you grow into your wings, sometimes you can't see your own wings and you don't appreciate the growth that you have experienced and how beautiful you are now. So we're going to get into our butterfly letter for this particular episode. We hope you enjoy and send us in your letters. All right. Today's letter comes from Jasmine Wynn for our butterfly letter, and it goes a little something like this. Dear gentlest reader. Nah, I'm just playing. That's what she said. Dear homegirl. Yeah, you, my homegirl. Should I read this like Moesha? Okay, now I'm be serious. Just writing to say thank you. I want to keep it at a simple thank you because I would probably have to type all day if I were to say thank you for just being you. Thank you for being a listening ear. Thank you for not only listening but providing feedback, encouragement, and compassion. You've been through so much with me, losses, gains, accomplishments, and adventures. I had my homegirl. You talked me off the ledge in one sentence and turned me up in the next. When you come around, I get a break. You naturally provide me rest with your spirit. Thank you. We continue to grow together in our careers. I'm proud for us. You never judge me or the path I choose, and I never judge you. YOLO. LOL. I watch you be a friend, a daughter, a sister, a mother, a hard worker, a wife, a fiance, an entrepreneur, a prayer warrior, and so much more. But most of all, I watch you just be you. In case you didn't know, getting a tear from me, cuz sheesh. Girl, you got it, and you ain't coming up off it no time soon. So thanks, homegirl. Thanks for showing up and understanding. We ain't all we got, but if we didn't have anything else, we would have each other. Love. Cut the cameras.
I love you too, homegirl.
That is from Jasmine Wynn, which is Kenyatta's best friend. Ooh, my autism mom, homegirl. We in this together. Ooh. That was the perfect butterfly letter for this episode.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I love you. And I just value our friendship. like we've said this entire episode, we are really striving to be intentional with how we show up, and I just appreciate you for growing with me as well. You have been my longest homegirl, 6th grade, the original salt shakers.
I know that's right.
So I just appreciate the place that you hold in my life, and I love you.
All right, you guys, we thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope that all hearts and minds are clear. We hope that you received the information you needed to receive. Any more church announcements or anything from the deacon board or anything like that, everything has been said. And we're going to end this episode here. We thank you guys for tuning in. This is our benediction. Bye.